So the first thing that I do when I come in the morning would be to access my search for loads. We are dispatchers, so we mainly work with a common carrier license. Brokers have the ability of posting loads. So we first thing that I do, if it's in a hot area, I search for loads. If it's not in a hot area, then I'll be posting my truck, so that way they can call me. So again, find your destination, where your truck is at, when he's going to be empty, very important, time, date that he's going to be empty, and then begin by searching for loads. Search loads button is at the top of the page, followed by the search trucks, post trucks, and then search loads tab. In this case, I already have in my computer a couple of loads that I was searching for yesterday in the Miami, Georgia area. Again, everything begins with searching for loads. At this time, I'm going to start opening the loads from yesterday that I was searching for, to see what do we have in the area, beginning with today's date, which is the 8th, out of Miami, South Florida. Let's take a look here. What do we have? If you notice, on this specific search, it says 52 total research were found. I have them set up by age. The last posting that came out is going to be the first one that's going to come up on my board. Looking at here, I see that off the bat there's no exact results. Try expanding your filters. Well, in this case, for this load, my filter set up 300 miles away from Miami on a foot load for a dry van. So in this case, there's basically nothing coming out of Miami for the 8th. Second load that I have posted here will be by Valdosta, Georgia, for the 8th. Obviously, I was doing this yesterday, so I was thinking about finding a load for today and then deadheading a truck up there. Looking at the board for that area of Valdosta, I'm looking at finding that it's basically the same as it was yesterday. You have Georgia loads coming into Florida, trying to stay away from that at this point. Florida is a bad market, so don't want the truck coming back into Florida. Second option that I have is the Sandersville, Georgia, going into Oakville, and this is in Ontario, Canada. Once I see the ON, there's no state that begins with ON in the United States, so it automatically takes me out into, it could be Canada or it could also be Mexico and out of the border. Well, in this case, it's Canada, so we don't have a Canada license, so this is basically not a good load that I would run. On your screen, you get similar matches. In this case, we got 568 similar matches from what I have posted in here, which is Valdosta, Georgia, picking up on the 8th, 200 miles around the area for a full load. This basically tells me there's other loads that similar that what I'm looking for. However, based on the fact that we have a South Florida truck and this is a Georgia pickup, the deadhead or having to run more miles would just kill your deal. So this will basically not be good loads to go after unless you're really desperate. Following my board, working my board from there on, after realizing there's nothing for today, I'm gonna set this one up for, right now I have a Miami search for the 7th. Once I clicked on it, it turned into the 8th because I just opened my screen. So we're gonna edit this search for tomorrow, which is the 9th, Monday the 9th. How do I do this? I follow my mouse all the way to the right of the screen. There's a big button that says edit. Once I hit on that button, I'm gonna get different parameters that are gonna pop up on my board. This lets me search for whatever type of equipment. Obviously, I am working with a van, so it's a V for van. There's many other options that are going to come around depending what type of trailer, what type of unit you're hauling, depends what type of search you're going to be looking for. Well, in this case, we're going to maintain with the V for van. We're going to stay with Miami, which is the origin city that I'm looking for because the truck is in Davie, it's in Miami. If I have an exact destination where I want to send this truck to, I will put it in here. However, in this case, I'm basically looking to get our truck out of South Florida, so I'm going to open up all my options and I'm going to find out, hey, this is, what's out there. Pretty much everything that's out there. This is where we're going to make a change because we're going to change it from the available date that we have the truck. Obviously, we already searched on the 8th on the first screen, so we're going to move it up one more date for the 9th. This load board only allows you to search one day at a time. So, we already click on top of the 9th. Nothing else needs to be clicked from there. Close it out. We're gonna keep the same deadhead miles because Miami is basically a bottleneck. There's no other way to go but up. So we're gonna keep those 300 miles. And again, we are looking for full loads. We are not a partial company, so we're not gonna sit there and look for a partial load. All the way at the end, you're gonna have a blue button that says search. We're gonna hit that button, and that search is gonna run whatever is available at this time to pick up on the 9th out of Miami. Well, things changed a bit. We do have a couple of loads picking up out of Miami, 300 miles away for Monday. So this is something that is interesting, even knowing that it's on a Sunday and they've got people posting loads 4 minutes away. But yeah, again, we're gonna look at the board. We're gonna look at what's available from the last time. 15 minutes, 18 minutes, 20 minutes ago. That means it's not a whole lot of postings for Monday. However, it's a lot of refreshing for other brokers because they're working on a Sunday as well. Overall, I'm gonna go for destinations. Arizona is a bad market, New York is a bad market, Minnesota is a good market. So this is something that I will call right away, although it's 250 miles away. Again, looking at what I'm looking for is any Florida loads that take me into Georgia. That way I can load out of Georgia. So other than going from DH, I'm gonna take a quick pick at the deadhead miles to see what's posted. And here we go. Got out Miami to Ocala, Florida for a van out of Reed Transport, a local broker. They're based out of mid-Florida. So yeah, this is a load that was posted 28 minutes ago. They might need to cover this early. This is something that we might call and see what's going on. Again, a couple of loads. Once we look at this posting, something that I wanted to bring about, but once we take a look at this posting, we're going to realize that it's going to give us a broker spot rate all the way on the right hand side, and it gives you a more or less on a short trip what the trip should pay. This does not mean this is what the load is paying. This is a broker's spot rate. This tells you more or less where you want to be at or where the market is at compared to the amount of trucks that's in here and the amount of loads that's available to ship out. That takes into consideration the date, the equipment, etc. Again, this is not what the load is paying. This is a spot market rate. This basically tells you where you should be at or where the market is at in order for you to get a load out of Florida. So moving again, we got Miami to Ocala with Reed Transport, Fort Lauderdale to New York, Fort Lauderdale to Mass. Something we need to know right away. Florida market, it's a bad market at this time. Means when we click on the bottom of, say we leave Ocala and we're picking a Fort Lauderdale to New York, right now it's $1.81 a mile. Mass, it's $1.42 a mile. Don't get scared when you see this, dollar a mile loads coming out of Florida. It is what it is. Sometimes they pay even less than that. So getting back to the main here, search for loads, places that we might want to end up in. We got a lot of New York, a lot of Florida to Florida loads. Basically leaving South Florida or within 100 miles out of Florida. We got very little market. Our market is all Florida to Florida or New York, Mass, and New Jersey. So it's not a whole lot to pick. Following from there, you're going to have better options. But again, this is for Monday. Today's Sunday. We're going to try to get some people on the phone, find out what they're trying to pay on these loads on a day before. Last but not least, we do have a truck that we have in Miami. So I might look at the Georgia market, which is what we're going to do now. Valdosta, Georgia market. Find out how that market is for tomorrow. That's on a Monday. To see if it's worth to deadhead a truck from Florida into Georgia so that we can pick up a Georgia. Believe it or not, it's a better market. If you get a load out of South Florida into Virginia or New York or whatever, you might get off for $1 a mile. I myself this past week booked a load out of Georgia where, including my deadhead, truck was averaging $1.25 per mile. So all I had to do was just get the truck on the other side of the Florida border, and we were already making a lot better mile per rate than what we were loading the truck anywhere south of Florida. And that's why we search for loads out of Georgia, because anything with Florida, it's looking at being very cheap. So with that in mind, again, I'm gonna hit a quick edit. That button is all the way to the right of your screen. My screen is a blue button, should be popping up right away in your screen, maybe a different color, but you hit that edit button. Again, all the parameters are gonna show up. We're sticking with the van. We're going out of Valdosta. We have no specific location. However, if you had a specific location, you will be entering it in this tab right here. Zip codes go, city and states go. If you want to put destinations for multiple states, you can also do it here. And basically, I do it at random. New Mexico, Minnesota, Alabama, PA, Virginia, whatever state you want to put in there with no commas, automatically, we're going to do a test trial here, automatically searches for loads going into all those states: Alabama, Minnesota, New Mexico, PA, and Virginia. And only those loads are going to pop up. Again, as I said earlier, I'm not looking to go into any specific state, although if you are, keep this tab in mind. It will be helpful at many, many times. We're going to do a quick edit here. We're going to delete what we input earlier. We're going to delete that. We're going to hit the search button again. Again, it's a blue tab on the right hand, upper right hand of your screen. Once you hit that, I'm going to take a quick look at the deadhead. I see there's, not any better from Florida, but, there's better location destinations from what I see. We have a Minnesota, we got a couple of, North Carolina, Alabama, Virginias, and Hazleton, PAs. That might be helpful, getting the truck there and then start making money from there. Again, it's Sunday. It should be a lot more loads come tomorrow. Right now we have a total of 454 results, but maybe like 50 of those are actual available loads that are within our parameters. With that in mind, we're gonna start calling some people, although it's basically the same people from yesterday, and we're gonna see how much they want to pay, and then we'll take it from there. Again, this is the searching for loads. We're basically working on a truck out of Miami, and we're doing a search for loads out of Florida.